one of, if not the best voxel game, Space Engineers. After a successful early access launching in 2013, later in 2019 releasing in full 1.0 version, with continued support even to this day, finally has received a sequel, Space Engineers 2. But damn it, that's the thing. It's another early access minimum viable product with little to no gameplay. So then, as I booted up the sequel, I was once more greeted with early access alpha game, and that alone soured the taste. So, when I asked developers why even bother with early access in the first place? We're launching Space Engineers 2 in early access because we believe community involvement from earliest stages is essential, especially given the game's complex mechanics. Yeah, we'll return to that, but first, screw early access, beta, alpha, or poo-poo pee-pee versions. The games industry almost solely has reduced these terms to meaningless nothings, so who cares what version it has, as long as it's good, right? Okay. But we didn't lose any frames while that collision happened. Interesting. Okay. Ah, there we go, that's the thing. Yeah, destroy things. Yeah, so, that's about it. Now here's the thing. I'm a casual audience member at the best of times, even after reviewing the first game. But what Space Engineers 2 has launched with today is basically nothing. For now, let's get into it, shall we? Quick start. Let's see if I press new game. So we got creative mode and worlds. Okay. Let's see what the other options are real quick, because the creative mode is creative mode. Let's see, worlds, right? Totally empty world, ready to be filled with creations. Okay. And we got the facility. Ah, it's both the same thing. Gotcha. Alright, so... yeah, there don't seem to be a lot. Now, it's really hard to ignore that for $30 hard-earned dollars, Keensoft House has released basically a sandbox mode from their first game, with less block types, items, or options, just with new engine and graphics. Oh, and of course, with a few mechanical updates. But no, seriously, that's about it. And right away after hearing all that, some of the people in the crowd will immediately point out and say, but hey, that's literally what Kerbal Space Program 2 already did. And look at it now, it's fucking deader than a hooker in a truck stop. Did they really release the same game in the same fashion they started development on their first one? Is that what they're doing? The ultimate space sandbox, reimagined. Unleash the creativity with powerful building tools, explore the mysterious Alchemist system, and uncover its captivating story. Join the early access and shape the future of space engineering. Honestly, it's very hard to justify this move. However, granted, developers of Space Engineers are not as disposable as Kerbal 2's are, or were, rather. Also, Space Engineers team thus far has had a rather spotless track record. Even if they screw up from time to time, they do actually come through for the most part. No, with the exception of tutorials, but that's a whole different story and nitpick of mine. So yes, the idea of more, better, refined, featureful game is likely going to happen. That much trust Keen Software certainly has earned. I do really like their tenacity and the dedication both to their game and the community around it. But early access, really? Vertical slice with basically nothing but foundational functions and mechanics without any real gameplay? Is that the best you could do? Seriously, I wish I could show you more gameplay than this, but that's all there is. Well, that and the performance. So, let's see what happens if we turn off the ray tracing, right? Okay, we are gaining, twice as many, more or less, frames a second. Yeah, it's a CPU bottlenecked game. Oh, okay. But we didn't lose any frames while that collision happened. Interesting. Yeah, right now 60 frames a second, right? As I'm flying around, just 60 frames a second. So some... Yep, There we go. There we go. Yep, something is not loaded incorrectly, or something is being loaded, essentially. So, early access is, at least in theory, for games that don't have the budget to do full development. So, they release early and say, hey, trust me, bro, we'll finish it. While Keensoft House has earned that trust, are they really out of money that they need early access? Well, considering that they are a team of 100 developers strong, the answer is no, because we believe community involvement from the earliest stages is essential. Now, forgive my Latvian cynicism, but to me that sounds like an excuse more than anything. Fact is, you have the manpower and the budget and the time to develop a full game and not piss around with this early access bullshit. So what? Either they are taking the piss or deliberately slicing up their release, which frankly feels more likely given the roadmap as well as the previous quotes. And still, I truly want to be positive here, but Steam, workshop, community involvement early in development, this to me really smells like leaving the community to develop the actual gameplay part for your game while developers scurry off to build more tools for them. And honestly, I've seen this song and dance before, and every single time it just is lame. And when you think of games that are propelled to the stardom because of their community's efforts, you might think of Skyrim, Roblox, Terraria, Minecraft, or Garry's Mod. But that's the thing, even they, by default, offered some kind of structured gameplay before letting the community hold it up. But most of all, Space Engineers already exists, and if a sequel is just a remake of the game on a new engine with a few more features and improvements thrown in, according to their own answer they gave me, we expect Space Engineers 2 to appeal to more players than the first game, but that's all we can say for now. We're pushing for several goals to make Space Engineers 2 more intuitive, yet deeper in gameplay possibilities, more flexible in building, with fewer artificial constraints, more visually stunning with next-generation graphics, more immersive with rich storytelling and living universe with human NPCs, coming later in early access by the way, more performant, leveraging modern hardware, more engaging survival experience in dynamic world. You already had the blueprint ready for a game, your first game. And for the past 10 years, you already had plenty of feedback, I can guarantee you that. So to release the sequel with this little stuff really just sucks, to say the least. Moreover, if Space Engineers 2 is planned to be more approachable by design, why the fuck is there no tutorial again? And no, don't you dare tell me about the videos on YouTube, because otherwise, hey, people are watching my video right now, so how about watch more of my videos instead of playing the game? Huh? You know exactly what I mean right now. For fuck's sakes, I complained about this shit constantly, and as a complete casual for this type of a game, I was utterly lost in the first vertical slice. That is until I remembered my previous experience with the first game. So I guess I'm just frustrated with the early access release because it's a good foundation that, works well, but has no content to play with. So instead of shooting itself in the foot, it takes a goddamn Gatling gun and obliterates the whole leg. So, because there is no tutorial, Space Engineers 2 is being sold to veteran players of the first game. Now, that'd be okay, but it appeals to less players instead of more. And because there is, granted, cool base game mechanic upgrades, but no new content, not even multiplayer yet, for $30, this is sold to even smaller group out of the veteran group who simply want to support the developers outright on a trust me bro promise that one day, likely in say 5 years, Space Engineers 2 will be up to par with the first game. Now hopefully sooner, but that's the thing, you don't know. And the roadmap they've presented is just hell, even Kerbal Space Program 2 had a better roadmap, god damn it. The point being, we know Space Engineers developers are one of the few good developers left in the industry. They can be given at least some trust on an unfinished product, but what pisses me off is just how little they launched with. And I struggle to accept their explanation as to why. Sure, one day, gods know when, they will deliver content and gameplay, but at the same time, if they're not hurting for money from the looks of things and having the previous game already as a perfect blueprint, you certainly could have released far more in far better condition. Remember, people are willing to wait for a good game, and Space Engineers was already a good game, damn it. But no, you chose to waste your release on a wet fart. I guess that's why I'm so mad. I know that these folks can, have, and will do better. But no, let's ruin the first impression and shoot ourselves in the foot with a 12-gauge shotgun, throwing away that only launch they will ever have. This was your biggest chance to attract the whole new crowd of people, but no, wasted. And look at the fucking Steam charts right now, literally in the first day. No one is actually playing the sequel. That's the great launch opportunity wasted. And honestly, if they're banking on double launch with a 1.0 release, honestly, this early access bullshit has pissed me off long enough already. But that's a whole different story. Anyway, Space Engineers 2, right now it's totally not worth your money unless you literally just want to support developers and be a goddamn reverse employee, QA, and play tester. Well, at least on the bright side, it's more playable than Star Citizen. Jesus Christ. God damn it, it's like comparing a golden glazed but rotting steak with a disassembled sandwich. But regardless, there is little doubt in my mind that Keensoft will eventually over-deliver a great game like before. Sure, performance is bizarre and inconsistent, but aside, the basics and foundation is there. And now we just wait. But damn it, just don't be another Kerbal 2, please! Boom, boom.